Hey, it's Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I'm Ethan Van Sciver, and yeah, I just finished reading Secret Wars 2, number 2, in a 9 issue limited series. There are going to be 9 of these, or there were 9 of these, back in, I guess this would have been August of 1985. What were you doing in August of 1985? Like the first one, Al Milgrom is the interior artist. Unfortunately, I think he probably does the whole series. He's one of these dependable, kind of dull, draftsman-like artists who Marvel would turn to when they absolutely, just wanted to meet a deadline. They weren't trying to impress anybody. They were just trying to meet a deadline and sell a comic book. Al Milgrom was your man. I'm sorry if you're like an Al Milgrom fan, but I certainly wasn't, although I loved the Marvel superheroes, back when I was a kid. I still do, but this is the iteration of the Marvel superheroes that I think I love the most, because this is when I was actually reading them and paying the 75 cents, like trying to find 3/4, or preferably $1, so I could get some candy too, with a comic book. Almost every day, I was on the grind looking for that dollar. People don't really use Noxema pads anymore, do they? Yeah, they were like, you had to have these just alcohol-soaked pads to dry out your skin when you had acne as a teenager in the 80s and 90s. I don't know if the people still do that anymore. All right, so Secret Wars 2, the Beyonder has come to Earth after bringing all the superheroes to a war planet to fight it out for his amusement. He followed them to Earth. That's what the sequel is. Secret Wars 2, sequel to Secret Wars, which was excellent. Secret Wars 1 was really fun. Secret Wars 2, I mean, the sequels aren't always as good as the original, so I think that this is definitely the case here. This is it's fun, but it's also silly. Written by Jim Shooter, who has a lot to say all the time. Unfortunately, unfortunately, we begin with the Beyonder appearing in kind of a human corporal form. He's decided to copy Captain America's build, and he's on top of, guess where? The World Trade Center. This is interesting. Al Milgrom has begun to copy at this point John Byrne's technique. I don't know if Jack Kirby ever did this too, but I remember vividly when John Byrne would take a photograph of a background and then Xerox it until it was nothing but just black and white, and that's as good as ink. And then he would kind of paste that down for the backgrounds of some of his comics to save time, but also to create a really nice kind of look here, a look of realism. I mean, why bother drawing this if you could just put a photo in there? Problem is, Al Milgrom, first of all, how big is the Beyonder? Like, how we know now, I think because of 9/11, how big these windows are. I mean, like, the Beyonder would be like this big. Help! Right here. Look how big he is. Like, he's at least 30 feet tall to scale with these windows. But not only that, here's a quick perspective lesson. I understand, like, this is photograph here. This is all a photograph. I think this is too, this area, although I think it is a photograph. This is the horizon line right here, very neatly contained right on the page. You see the horizon line. What is this? Like, where is this going to? Where is this perspective line going to? What is this? The thing is, if the horizon line is here and you want to put the building here, we would not see any of the surface. We would not see the top of the building. This would be even with our eye line. So it would not this is going off to another horizon line. This building is sloping. The roof of the building is sloping downward like this because Al Milgrom didn't bother to the part that he drew of this panel. He didn't fit it into the perspective of the photograph. So does it bother you? I don't know. It kind of bothers me a little bit. It messes with my brain, but all in all, I mean, all he really needed to do was lower the building down to here, and then if he'd lowered the top of the building here, it would have been just fine. But I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, here's the Beyonder. the Aryan Beyonder here, and he should be naked. The point is, he doesn't have any clothing, but he does. Now, this whole episode, this whole issue, he's trying to understand what pain is and what the point of violence is. He's trying to understand what clothing is, and he's trying to understand what food is and eating. And that's what the whole thing is. He's wandering around bothering people, thinking about those things and asking them questions. He's on top of the World Trade Center, and oh no. I mean, this is the kind of thing that... this is the kind of thing that probably, like, if you were going to edit this book today, like in a collection, if you're going to collect Secret Wars 2, I'd be a little bit edgy about including the part where the Beyonder is a small figure who throws himself deliberately off of the World Trade Center and then hits the ground, at the bottom. See, I'd be a little bit, people are probably a little bit sensitive about that. Maybe they're not sensitive, but this is interesting imagery, of course. A good 16 years before that became a tragedy. You remember that tragedy, 9/11? Remember that one? He's going around eating. He bites a bottle. That's fine. Yeah, I'm going to try some cream soda. He just bites the bottle. This is great. He's learning about, wow, what is this leg here? Why is this enormous? Al Milgram, I'm noticing in this book, like, really kind of takes a lot of liberties with the way he draws anatomy. It doesn't, when you look at it, it doesn't really bother you too much, but look at it a little bit closer. Here you have a crowd of people who are angry about mutants, and they're, it's a riot of hate. And I couldn't help but notice this lurking back here. I don't know if you could see this. Talking about no more freaks, hate is the truth, and then I think that says Jews are evil. Al Milgram seems to have slipped in a little commentary there. Freaks, muties must die, and then also the Jews there. All right, so I don't know, who knows. Over here we've got another ad for Oreo cookies. See, I love this stuff. I'm not even going to bother trying to beat this maze this time, am I? Should I try to beat this maze? All right, let me see. It looks like I'm going to go here, and then here, and then where am I trying to get to? Oh, out the other side. And then I'm going to go here and here. Look at that. Bang. See? Into the glass of milk with my Oreo cookie. I could have gotten this free Oreo. You know what's kind of fun is to go to eBay and try to find these items. Somebody somewhere bought this and kept it in good shape and then put it on eBay. And it's kind of fun to find those things now. Like, I used to look at toy commercials from the 1950s and 60s, kids commercials, and they would have like cereal boxes that came with special prizes inside. You could still find that stuff on eBay. It looks crazy to see that stuff actually existed and people saved it. All right, so here's the Hatemonger, a new version of the Hatemonger, not Hitler. Some other loser. And then this is, of course, one of the great things about Jim Shooter is that all of his Marvel Comics stuff happen concurrently. So, he makes a reference to John Byrne's Fantastic Four run where Sue Storm becomes Malice, and she is filled with hatred for her husband. And, man, she looks smoking hot, except for this. I don't care for the headpiece too much. That's a little bit... I don't know, man. I don't know where John Byrne found this. John Byrne designed this thing. I don't know where he found the leather mask there, but I don't know. Leather masks on women, not really my thing. But there you go. Here he goes. He's stealing things. He's trying to steal some clothes. I really think the whole purpose of this, I think he's supposed to be naked. He has clothing on. Point of fact, if I'm running around wearing like a skin tight white leotard, like I do around the house sometimes, I am not naked. These look like Mormon garments. Actually, they look like what people refer to as Mormon magic underwear. It's not nudity. You're wearing clothing at this point. You're trying to find more clothing, I guess, but you're not undressed. Okay. Anyway, so he's looking for Peter Parker. He finds Peter Parker. I have a little bit of an issue with the way Jim Shooter wrote Peter Parker here. His spider sense goes off. He's at the Daily Bugle. Okay. He goes, "Whoa, where'd that guy come from?" He's thinking that, and look at his face. And he gets in the elevator and he goes, "His mother sure dresses him funny. Oh well, I got my own problems." Whoa, whoa, whoa! Did somebody forget to read Amazing Fantasy number 15? What do you mean you got your own problems? Your spider sense is alerting you to this fellow. Like, no, he is your problem. I mean, that really bothered me. Normally Spider-Man, I think Spider-Man wouldn't Spider-Man go, "Oh, I better, hey, my spider sense is alerting me to this guy. I better find out what the problem is." But here he tries to ignore him and kind of brushes him off like a bunch of times here. "He's following me," he says. "And now my spider sense is really buzzing, a blue streak. This guy is more than he seems, but then so am I." Okay, so you're finally going to do something about it? Twizzlers candy. This is nice line work here that you can see. I actually agree with, when it comes to like line work, like I can agree and disagree. Like I profoundly disagree with whatever this is here. Like what is this? Whatever he put on this face here, I disagree with it. I would never do that. It looks like a mess. But I agree with this. I like these lines here, okay, to make a shadow dark. And then pull-outs. These are called pull-outs. I like that. Break it up a little bit. You got the shadow on this side of the lip there. Very nice. And then pull-outs. I wouldn't put these here. I'd get rid of those. But I 100% agree with the rest of it. I would not put these lines on these teeth. On the teeth, though, it's a little bit vulgar. I don't know. It's a little bit too much. I would have gotten rid of those. But other than that, yeah. Does that make sense? Talking about what you like, line work that you approve of. Quick Bunny advertisement here for Nestle Quik. Once again, Marvel Comics paying the bills, and these companies, these big companies like Nestle. They found value in advertising in comics because lots of kids were reading comics. And I don't know what the circulation of Marvel Comics was back in the 1980s. I'm not really sure. But whatever, it was enough to convince these big companies that they should really buy advertising in those books because the target audience were kids that ate chocolate and candy and wanted, BMX bikes. I mean, it's a shame. Like, you want to know why comics are less profitable, why there are more kind of variant scams and all of these other issues that are dominating and hurting the comic book industry. I mean, one of the reasons is kids aren't buying comics anymore, and I think the advertisers are aware of it. There are a lot fewer cool ads like this. Look, he hits the ball. Nestle Quik. Home run as he slides in. I guess this is home plate. I don't know where the catcher is, but it's announced that it's a home run. I guess it's a standing home run. Like he circled the bases before they tagged him out. But because otherwise, boom, home run right here, right? Anyway, sorry for my cough. I'm not trying to imitate that other guy. You know which guy? You get a sip of water there. All right, so yeah, more of the Spider-Man just kind of being followed by this the ghost of the Beyonder, and then he sort of teaches the Beyonder how to urinate, which is good too. Like a lot of weird stuff here with Al Milgram's artwork here. Here you've got a full profile. It's almost a complete profile of his face here, but then the head, like this part is a profile. But then the head part is from behind, right? Look at this ear, like like somebody they dented the side of his head in. Look at that. It's all this stuff. I mean, you could just say, I understand you want to have your cake and eat it too. It's like I want a shot from behind him. I want like the back of his head, listening to Peter and talking to Peter, but I also want to show his facial expression. Well, you know what? You can't, okay? It's a comic book. So why don't you just go ahead and just give in and go ahead and do a profile here. Pull his ear right back here, and then just go ahead and give him a full, like, a profile shot. But that's like wanting your cake and eating it too. I'm over his shoulder, but his face is twisted into a profile shot. It really looks bizarre. And that kind of thing really bothers me. Again, you've got all of this storytelling here. Just thinking about, a shot of Spider-Man swinging into action, and it takes up, 1/16 of the page. That's what you get. Down here, the Fantastic Four have defeated the Hatemonger. If you want to know how that happened, and gotten Sue Storm, Malice back on the side of the team. If you want to know how that happened, then you have to go and read. See, this is what I like, as seen in Fantastic Four 281 by John Byrne, which I recommend. So, I mean, to me, that's like, I see that, and that's a sale. I'm gonna buy that comic book because I gotta know. I gotta know how that happened. All right, Beyonder shows up, interrupts their fight with the Hatemonger. I haven't read that issue in a while. I haven't read the Byrne run in a while. I've got it. Maybe I'll give it a read pretty soon. This is beautiful, by the way. This panel stood out to me as though I didn't quite believe that Al Milgrom had drawn it. Beautiful line weights here, or somebody else inked it. But this is like, I mean, it's way too sophisticated for Al Milgrom. I'm sorry to say that. Like, I really feel like I'm like dunking on the guy, but you compare this. Are they different inkers? And by the way, Jim Shooter completely understands women. Here's Reed after the fight, and he's talking to the Beyonder. He's like, holy cow, like, you're a godlike entity. Look how big his head is here. Look how big his head is compared to Reed's. You're a godlike entity. I want to talk to you about important matters that somebody with an IQ like mine would want to talk to God about. Meanwhile, you've got your woman who's just like, I don't believe it. Reed is ignoring me. It's like she feels bad because the Hatemonger screwed with her emotions. She feels like she's been abused, and she really wants Reed to sympathize with her. But Reed is talking to God at this moment. But that's not enough for a woman who is just like, what about me? Look at this. He's like, I don't know if I can fully explain the interest. I shall seek answers. She's like, oh no, he's gone. Blasted. I had a chance to reach him, communicate. Look how angry Reed is because this chance has slipped away. Meanwhile, the woman, Reed, I don't know what all this is about, but I need you. I need you now. Don't you understand? Can you imagine? Like the torment of like a woman who's like doesn't understand. Like, it's like, what are you talking about? Whatever our problems are can wait. Of course, darling, but that was the Beyonder. His powers are unimaginable. His power is godlike. Such a chance to communicate with such a being. It's important that. Not now, Reed. I need you now. Am I important? Oh my God, dude! It's been a while since I wanted to smack a fictional woman. But like, yeah, like this is one of those things where, it's like you gotta be kidding me. And a young man who's reading this, like this is being read by 13, 14-year-old boys, they're just like, yeah, this is what I have to look forward to. And it is. Bonkers Candy, by the way, no longer exists, but I remember when Bonkers Candy came out, remember? It looked like a pack of Bubblicious or Bubble Yum gum, but it wasn't. It was just like chewy candy. And had like one color on the outside, and then like look at this, it's watermelon, and it actually looks like a little watermelon. Yeah, Nabisco paying advertising big bucks to Marvel Comics. Not anymore. He gets some clothing, and he meets and discusses things with a hideous homeless bag lady, who lectures him ironically like he stole the clothing. He looted the clothing. This is amazing. He looted the clothing from the store, and here you have a woman of color, a noble woman of color, who's going to lecture him about stealing. You didn't pay for that. He's like, pay? It ain't honest to steal things. She's going to point at him. By the way, Look at the size of his face compared to. Look at this. Look at look at this. Did somebody paste this? This looks like it used to have a regular sized head here, but like somebody in the art department didn't like it, and they said redraw that. They got like somebody else to redraw it, and then they pasted it on there, but they didn't pay attention to the size of the, like they should have reduced it down. Look at the size of his face. It's crazy. Anyway, she's giving him fashion advice. I wouldn't listen to her. Look at the way that she dresses, but she's like tailoring his. She's like, if you shorten your sleeves and fix your pants, there, that's good. It's like, why would you listen to her? Look at her. She's crawling with maggots. By the way, another thing, like you're reading this and you go, so if I get this cheese, I could get the Secret Wars sticker album. Look at these puffy stickers. Yes, please. Wolverine just standing there. Only got one Wolverine, but got like 100 Spider-Mans, Captain Americas, one Iron Man. Iron Man and Wolverine, you only get one each of those, but you get all of these, like way too many. I don't need this many Spider-Mans. Wolverine wasn't quite as popular as he would become, I guess. Like now it would be all Wolverines. Yeah, suddenly here he is, tailored. Looks like a Howard Chaykin drawing. And he's walking with her now. And he says, do the many small creatures who share your clothing pay for their shelter? She's like, my bugs? Nah, they're broker than I am. She's covered with like maggots and fleas and roaches. A bunch of homeless people who are thugs. Two fellows of Caucasian origin who have punk rock haircuts because, over at this is basically, these are the homeless people. They're the people you should be afraid of. Big Billy Idol fans. They're punk rockers. Look, he's got a big X shirt on because he likes Billy Idol. Was it Billy Idol an X? And yeah, these are dangerous thugs here who will attack this man and then try to rob this bag lady because she's got a lot of money, I'm sure. Whatever. All right, we're meeting Luke Cage, and they're beautiful. He goes to Luke Cage in his new suit. Luke Cage isn't there. By the way, this is supposed to be 3 a.m., so it doesn't look like 3 a.m. It looks like noon, the way it's colored. But, yeah, he brings Luke Cage and Iron Fist here. And these two are a gay couple. I didn't realize this, but Luke Cage is the man and Iron Fist is the woman. As you could see, he arrives with his legs spread wide open for Luke Cage, who has a look on his face of, kind of like hesitancy or disgust at the idea of approaching Iron Fist, his crotch. But Iron Fist is 100% in love with Luke Cage. Here, he keeps like being worried, like they're a superhero team. He gets punched. Luke Cage gets punched. He goes, Luke. He's always expressing concern for Luke Cage. Here, if you're strong enough to do that to Luke, then I'm gonna have to. And then he moves out of the way here. Luke, be careful. And look at this. Shut up, Fist. Like, I mean, just the gay, like, Luke, please, you're gonna get hurt. And Luke Cage keeps telling him, I mean, look, Luke, you're in this relationship with him, man. This is a very womanly man who cares for you. And you're telling him to shut up. Of course, abusive relationship, go figure. Let me see. He's holding back some kind of force. I can hardly move. He's headed for the window. Alright, so he's going to jump out the window 14 stories up. And once again, like, Luke Cage is going to go do something dangerous. No, Luke, don't. Like, why is he like, this guy is desperately in love with him. Please, Luke, don't hurt yourself. And then he also, like, it ain't working. I ain't getting it. He's going to go try to catch him and stop him from hitting the ground. And then he says, oh, shoot. Okay, so shoot here. Hey, boom, hits the ground. And look at this. Luke, don't move. Are you hurt? Are you hurt bad? What do you think? So he's like, again, telling Iron Fist in many different ways to like stop being a woman. Like, like stop. I understand you care, but stop caring that much, And Let me see. Out of my way, fist. No. No, Luke. Look at him sticking his rear end out here. Look at this posture here. Look at this. He's like, I'm not going to let you hurt him. Man, it's so gay. So anyway, Luke is seething a little bit, and he just wants to communicate with the pretty blonde man here, I guess. Who knows? Trying to figure out what pain is, what money is all about. And basically he explains what money is, like what cash is, because he explains it in a way that there's like a kind of a gold standard, and cash represents gold, but it doesn't. And then Spider-Man arrives just in time to warn these guys. Spider-Man! I gotta say, man, I was never a big Iron Fist fan or Luke Cage fan, but like Iron Fist is kind of a bitch, kind of a punk ass. Look at this. Shoot. As they see, oh shoot, as they see that like he's turned the entire building into gold to pay them back, but gold is a soft metal, so it basically collapses. But I mean, listen, it doesn't matter. It's still gold. Like, big deal. Like, you know, can you imagine? Like, that's billions and billions of dollars worth of value there. And they're just like, what'd you do that for? He's like, hey, I'm paying you back. There you go. Look, he's popped his collar. You know, I don't know, man. He's dressed like James Spader in Pretty in Pink all of a sudden. Roll up your sleeves. You got to roll up your suit sleeves up to your forearm. Pop your collar. And call Molly Ringwald kind of a bitch. That's what it's all about. That's what people were doing in 1985. Anyway, that's the end of this issue. He's going to go on to do some other things, and that would be Secret Wars 2, 3, number 3. I guess I'll read that one too. Some people are telling me that I should review this whole series. I don't know. I mean, I got them all. Should I? Let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate you guys. Also, I drew this. Wow. You know, listen, it's Cyberfrog 3 underway here. Look at Rumblebee. This takes forever, this kind of technology. If you wouldn't mind supporting my comic books, which are, I'm afraid, infinitely better than, I love Marvel Comics, but it's better than Secret Wars 2 at the very least. The link is in the description. Go over and pre-order a copy of Cyberfrog 3 or order a copy of Dark Harvest. Cyberfrog Dark Harvest shipping now. I think that's the featured tier on the Cyberfrog 3 campaign, and the link is in the description below. Thanks, guys. Like this video, comment, subscribe. See you again for, I guess, Secret Wars 2 Part 3. Bye.